how natural elements in the environment had been incorporated into Hinduism and deified. On this week's show, he has a similar thought-provoking topic. He's analyzing how idol worship is incorporated into Hinduism. Our interviewer, as always, is Mr. Anand Atal.
Suresh Kurl, I'd like to welcome you again to Aaradhna. And I am very thankful that you took time to come on the program to talk about a very special topic. It's about idol worshipping in Hinduism. But before we launch into the topic, Sureshji, would you tell a few things about yourself?
Well, there's not much to say about myself. I've been living in Canada for more than 30 years. Before that, I lived in the United States and in the United Kingdom. My professions there were university teaching. And for the last 25 years now here in Canada, I've been working with the government of British Columbia. I'm a married man. I have 2 daughters. And one of them lives in Ottawa and she works there, and the other one is here preparing perhaps to go back to school. There's not much to say. I'm a writer and I'm a thinker. At least that's what I believe in. That's all.
It's very nice, and with all those powerful credentials, I'm pretty sure we have got an appropriate topic to discuss. Sureshji, idol worshipping is one of the most visible characteristic of all the Hindus and Hindu way of life. And as far as I know, it has been there forever. But isn't there some base point, like from the time of Vedas, we can take the nature of worshipping by Hindus? Could you comment a bit about how the worshipping and particularly idol worshipping came about?
Well, Anandji, you know, Hinduism is a very ancient religion. It has been, the evolution of this religion starts from Vedic culture. Mm-hmm. Although in Vedic culture and Vedic religion, the rishis, the people, did not, the Aryans I should say, they did not worship idols. There were no idols at that time. And yet they worshipped natural gods. Mm-hmm. And they invoked them through yagyas.
What do you mean by natural gods?
Natural powers, like sun, mm-hmm. water, wind, air, Agni. Mm-hmm. These were the main gods mm-hmm. of Vedic times. They worshipped them. And they invoked them through yagyas, through sacrifices. Mm-hmm. So the rite to perform yagya was the main way of worshipping the powers. Then, and that is the Vedic period. Then comes the post-Vedic period. And I would say during the Vedic period that perhaps the gods were saguna, they had shapes, because Indra has a shape. Indra was a warrior, he was a human being. And the history, when history becomes very, very old, it becomes mythology. So this Aryan warrior becomes God, okay? So that is saguna, there is a size to everything there. Mountains have size, okay? Then post-Vedic period comes the Upanishad time. This was a period when the worship becomes more speculative. What is God? What is Brahman? Who created this universe? You know, I said, does he have a shape? No, he does not have a shape. Does he have a name? No, he doesn't have a name. Does he have some physical attributes? No, he does not have. He is nirguna, nirakar. Okay.
And so these are very natural questions to ask.
These are the intellectual speculation started then. Okay. And in the Vanaprastha also, this continued. The Grihastha ashram people, the householders left for Vanaprastha, and this is what they meditated upon, Brahman. And at that time you say, Aham Brahmasmi, I am God, I am Brahman. Ekvasmi, I am alone. Dutyo nasti, there is nobody else. And then the creation starts. And the creation say, I am alone, but I want more. So the creation happened. Ekoham, bahusyama. Then comes, and this is Nirvana period. Then comes the post-Vedic period. And that's when the idol worship became assimilated.
Excuse me, just for a sec. How far back are we going when you're taking post-Vedic period?
It is, okay, we are going back to the period of Ramayana and Mahabharata, okay, the Maurya period, historically speaking, because during the Maurya period, the idol worship really started. The temples started coming into being.
Right.
The Gupta was the most dedicated rulers of Lord Vishnu. They built lots of Lord Vishnu temples. So if you're talking about the actual time period, I would say 4th century or 5th century, okay, from then on. So the relationship in Vedic period and post-Vedic period was not personal with God. There was no personal relationship. God was power, you worshipped. You asked for something, you wanted something. You offered sacrifices to please God. But then comes the post-Vedic period, and the relationship between human being and God became more personal. That's when you started thinking of reducing that abstract and absolute power into something you can focus on. You can have it more concrete. You could develop a personal relationship. That's when it happened. Now, if you recall Bhagavad Gita, the most dedicated devotee in Bhagavad Gita is Arjun. He is the yogi, and he's talking to the master, Lord Krishna, and he's making a confession to him. And he's saying, mind is restless and fickle and wild and beyond control. Controlling it is like controlling the wind. Oh Krishna, chanchalam hi manah Krishna, pramati varvadradam, tasyam nigraham manye, vayoriv sudushkaram. He confesses it.
It's a very good metaphor.
Yes, he confesses it. So it immediately, I think, emphasizes on something that you need something to focus on. You need a prop. You need a prop. We are all neophytes in our spiritual journey. We need a prop. We need to focus on something. And especially to focus on something that is so abstract and so absolute. How do you translate that into your day-to-day life? How to bring that power closer to your life? So in post-Vedic period, they brought God down to earth, incarnation.
So now you have all these incarnations like Rama, Krishna, and Vishnu.
That's right. You brought them down to earth, and these incarnations started living with the people. They were born in ordinary families with you and me, but they were gods. Now, next step was idols started. Lots of tribes joined us. They had a tradition of worshipping idols. We incorporated their tradition into our Aryan tradition. We accepted that. Before you start an idol worship, you have some sort of carved out image that just like an empty home. That image, that stone image or wooden image or whatever is empty home. You invite God to live into that body, that home, by invoking, by puja. So Vedic time is the time for rites and rituals. And post-Vedic time, post-Vedic time is the time for worship and puja.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Now, the most beautiful thing about this devotion, this worship is that it is very personalized and it is one-to-one. You create this God in your own image. You offer the best from the nature that God has given to you. Todiyam vastu govinda, tubhyameva samarpayet. It's all yours, I'm giving it back to you.
Yes, that's right.
You know? So you offer the best given by the same person you are worshipping. That's my understanding of idol worship.
So it's a very natural evolution, you know. In fact, I'll give you an example of math problem, very abstract theorem in geometry. I do see the need for a prop called paper and pencil, and it helps me visualize it. It helps me feel much closer to the problem. So maybe that's what is happening when it comes to idol worshipping.
And when you're worshipping idol, the idol and you are not in any conflict. you are pouring your heart out to the idol, and the idol is listening. Okay? There's no conflict at all. God is never in conflict with its worshippers or devotees. It becomes so personalized. I mean, people have heard of Mirabai of the 15th century, Tulsidas, Surdas. It was so idolized, personalized relationship. Actually, the relationship of Krishna and Mira was so personal, it was like husband and wife.
It made her husband very jealous.
Yes, it did.
And it led to all kinds of troubles, for
But
her.
he didn't know that there was room for other people to worship her husband too. See, the human and relationship, husband and wife, is a very mundane, very narrow. There is no room for a third person. But when this devotion, this love affair gets to a next step of devotion, then there is room, plenty of room for everybody.
So here you come today, you're making a case for a very ancient belief system, ancient religion, which evolved, incorporated different ideas, and today we have it. We have lots of types of idols, and you go to every Hindu home, there is some idol worshiping. But what you are saying, it is our way to bow to the same Almighty, same power.
Exactly.
So where is the unifying, cohesive theme of Hinduism behind all these diverse idols?
Two issues here. Hinduism is not a very narrow, undemocratic religion. It allows people to worship idol or not worship idol, but they all are worshipping the same God. Arya Samaj, they don't worship idol. Sanatan Dharmis, they worship idols. Okay. Secondly, those who worship idol, even among them, some people worship idol in the male form of God. Purush, Rama, Krishna, Vishnu.
Yes.
The devotees of Bhagwan Vishnu are called Vaishnavas, and they worship Ram and Krishna, male form. The devotees of Shiva, they are called Shaivyas. They worship the male form. But there are the devotees of Devi, Durga. They are called Shaktas. They worship the female form. And then you have a third one. I don't want to worship male or female. I want to worship both. So they have Shiva and Shakti, Ardhanarishwar, both of them. So you got there. You don't have to worship idol, Arya Samajis. If you worship, you are Sanatan Dharmis, but you don't have to worship only male. You can worship female. You can worship both of them. So it is such a democratic religion. There's so much freedom there.
So based upon the intellectual level or the emotional level or where the person is, there are so many different paths to reach the Almighty.
Right. Exactly. Now, those who do not really understand that worshipping idol is not everything in itself. It is a path that takes you somewhere else, a step up. If they get stuck with only that little concept, then they are in trouble and they start fighting. The Shaivyas and Shaktas used to fight. Okay. But if they understand that this is like a prop, there is a next step, and that's the ultimate step, then there is no fight.
So maybe the deep-rooted philosophy of Hindu belief system does allow all this freedom, and yet it is anchored very well in this long tradition.
Yes.
When you talk about idol worshipping, there is a lot of devotion and there is a lot of prayers, lot of rituals.
Yes.
Where does this ritualistic nature of Hinduism come from? Did it come from the idol worshipping, or did it, because I'm thinking of giving bath to the idol, putting clothes on it. Is this part of the same philosophy?
I'll tell you two things about this. Rituals are rooted in Vedic culture. Atharva Veda is the encyclopedia of rituals. Okay. Yajna is a ritual. How to invoke gods, how to bring them here, how to make offerings to them. Performing a fire sacrifice is a ritual. And you must have seen in all kinds of old Ramayana and Mahabharata movies, the Rishi Munis used to come and offer and perform fire, and everybody is chanting mantras and everybody is throwing food in it. It's a ritual. Okay. But when you established a personal relationship with God in the form of, through the form of an idol, then that is personal relationship, that is a person, much powerful than you are, has the power to satisfy your wishes.
That's right.
Okay, but because it is a personal relationship, you do exactly the same thing for that person that you do for yourself.
A whole bunch of rituals.
A whole bunch of rituals came into that. Now, Krishna, you go to temples, they change their clothes every week or every day or according to the festival. They give them a bath, put a chandan or sandalwood paste on their forehead, put a garland around them. This also has a side reason. This prepares your mind and your body. It's like a yoga. It prepares you to get ready to offer yourself.
You know, when I go to temples and people in front of a murti of Lord Krishna, I see devotees. There is a face full of ecstasy. They are praying.
Yes.
They are bowing to the
Yes.
murti
Yes.
or idol.
Yes.
But deep inside, the process going on is
Yes.
probably bowing to that
Yes.
Almighty, which is symbolized by this murti.
May I tell you a story? There was two yogis, these devotees, the guru and the shishya, the teacher and the student. And in his mind, in his samadhi, this guru is giving a bath to the idol of Krishna. Then he's putting clothes on him. And then he put his crown on his head. And now he's trying to put the garland, the necklace around his neck. And his student is standing behind. Nothing concrete is going on. It is in his mind, meditation. So this teacher is having difficulty putting the necklace around Krishna. It gets stuck every time in the crown. So the student from behind says, why don't you take the crown off first and then put the necklace? So the visual, this yoga that's going on between the two, he could see what his teacher was doing, was performing a ritual. At that moment, the guru blessed him and said, now you are ready to leave this ashram.
That's very nice. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Sureshji, for bringing out this ancient aspect and tracing the roots of this idol worshipping. I really appreciate your coming to Aaradhna and making it clear for all our viewers. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.